Wednesday. What are you reading Wednesday? Not you, dear. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? It wasn't written by Jane Austen. What are you who's watching this? What are you reading? As it's Jane Austen July, I am reading a book by Jane Austen herself, Sense and Sensibility. This follows the Dashwood sisters, Eleanor and Marianne. Eleanor is a sense, she's practical, she values restraint and reason. Marianne is the sensibility, she's controlled by her emotions, but both women learn difficult lessons about trust, disappointment and resilience through their contrasting experience. Jane Austen explores the balance between reason and emotions and suggests for happiness you need the right balance of both. Have you read Sense and Sensibility? Or what is your favourite Jane Austen? Let me know in the comments. I'm also reading Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books, which is set in Georgia, but not the Georgia I'm living in. Georgia, the Peach State, is set in Troy, Georgia, and Lula's the local busybody who wants to rid the public libraries and school libraries of any inappropriate books and takes it on herself to start this crusade. Her nemesis is Beverly Underwood, who's on the school board and is very opposed to this censorship. And Lula starts her own little library of approved books, which are not very exciting. But one night, Beverly's daughter sneaks in to this little library and fills this free library with banned books, but she changes the covers. So people are taking away our Confederate heroes and they open it and they read it and they find out it's Beloved by Toni Morrison, or they're reading Anne Frank's diary or some of the other books that Lula disapproves of. It's a satire, it's quite a lot of fun, but it looks at ideas that are happening in the South at the moment in America. I'm also continuing to read Rivera. This is about Diego Rivera by Andrea Kettenmann. Here we have how a fresco is made, and we see Diego Rivera himself in the picture with his assistants. He's an interesting character. He fell out of favour with the Soviet Union because of his Trotskyist ideas. He also fell out of favour with the American capitalists because of his communist ideas. But he was fated by both at one time, and he's also famous for marrying Frida Kahlo. That's an interesting read. This is more interesting than most of the Taschen books for reading. Usually the Taschen books have these wonderful illustrations, but the text is quite dry. But maybe because Diego Rivera had such an interesting life, this is more interesting than most. There's also one book I DNF'd this week. DNFing, I think it's a healthy practice. Life is too short. There are far more great books than anyone can read, so why spend time on a book that doesn't give you pleasure, you don't enjoy? If you're reading for pleasure, a book doesn't work for you, you can DNF it. I DNF'd the book that was chosen for my TBR, Elemental Thief by Rachel Morgan. I got about 20% in, but it was too YA for me, too young. I didn't really vibe with the central protagonist, this 17-year-old girl who's very self-centered. She steals from the rich and gives to the poor, but she's very into herself, and I didn't relate to her at all. Reading should be enjoyable, tastes change, and I learned something about myself from reading this, that this is not the kind of book for me. What was the last book you DNF'd? Or let me know in the comments, and if you don't DNF, why don't you DNF? you don't owe the book anything if you're reading it for pleasure. If it's not giving you pleasure, you can start another book. That's my opinion. Maybe you have a different opinion. Let me know in the comments. So that's my reading at the moment and non-reading with the DNF. Let me know in the comments what you're reading, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.